if you're just feeling like, I don't know how to handle this week with everything that's going on in the world and all of that, like, are you guys feeling a little overwhelmed by that? Just nod your head. No, you've got it. You're totally fine. Yeah. So I think that this is something truly, like, Rachel and I don't even, I mean, nobody's gone through this, guys. So like, it's just one of those seasons that I was talking to another guy on my team though. And before I kick into the kind of the nitty gritty details, I want to do just some mindset stuff with you guys, because truly I'm excited for seeing what happens in my business. I'm excited. I mean, I'm obviously heartbroken for all the bad stuff that's going on, but I truly, truly believe, I was telling Ben this last night, that every time in my business that there's been something really, really hard, and granted, it's all been personal to me, it hasn't been a global pandemic, but every single time something has been really hard where I have the opportunity to either run away and hide and cocoon up, or to lean in and share through it, my business has grown and the Lord has blessed it, and it's given me a chance to not just sell Shakeology and get someone set up with a home workout, but to truly change lives. And I just get goosebumps thinking about, as you guys, as brand new coaches starting this business, you might be sitting here thinking like, hot dang, I started a business and then all this like up. But truly, I am so excited for you guys to be able to share your stories and to shine your light and to truly make an impact in a way that nobody has ever been able to do before. And so I want you guys, as you start kind of thinking about how you're going to move forward these next few weeks, and I mean, who knows what the future is holding, but to think about it in that way. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, is just how are you connecting with people? How are you sharing on social media? Like, what does that look like in the season of not selling, but also we have a product that people need right now, and all of those things. So before I get into actually having specific examples, and I'm going to have Rachel jump in if she wants to at any point, because she's the best. I would love to know, can you guys either just, actually, I'm going to ask you guys, can you type in the chat bar, because we can give you all of the scripts you'd ever need and all the training you ever need. But the truth is, if you are not confident in your abilities to deliver and to coach someone and to do your job, it doesn't matter. I could give you every script in the world and it wouldn't get you anywhere. So what I want to hear from you right now, is be very honest, is how is your mindset? Like, are you struggling with self-doubt right now? Are you struggling with confidence? Or do you feel like, I'm on a high, let's go? Like, drop them below, because that's going to actually impact what I share with you guys. So do me a favor and share that below where you're at. And there's zero judgment, guys. I've shared with you before, when I first started as a coach, I posted at midnight and cried so nobody would see it. So no judgment. I just want to know where you're at. And I'm going to pull something up here while you guys are typing it in. Anyone? Okay. I'm on a high. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Good go-to needs script. Really nervous. Okay, perfect. These are good. These are good things. Great. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about tonight, I'm going to share my screen. This is actually a call that I did with my team a few months ago. And I'm not going to give you guys the whole call because you don't need it. But I think that truly, the longer you're in this business, the more you're going to find out that what we do is so much more than selling challenge packs, but it is truly a mindset. And when you can come into your invites, and this is why I'm talking about this before I even give you a script, because it doesn't matter, but when you can come into your invite, and when you can come into your posts, and when you can come onto your social media feed or in person with the right mindset, guys, that's what makes all the difference. I swear it doesn't, I don't know how, I don't know why, but if I'm inviting, I could use the same exact wording one day, and if I'm nervous or scared or just kind of like blah, it does not have the same response as when I am excited to send something. And I don't know how tone can get conveyed through the same words, but I swear it makes a difference. And so the very first thing that I want you to think tonight is, why did you start this business? You're going to hear a lot about your why. It almost gets put like ad nauseum a little bit too much sometimes in here. But why did you start? And I know for a lot of you, it's you want to help people. You want to make an income. Like, think about the deep, deep reason. For me, there were reasons I wanted to start coaching that I would not even say out loud, because saying them out loud was too scary and it made them feel real. And so I would say, oh, I want to earn an extra $50 a month and I want to help some people, because that's really safe, right? That is safe to say. When I started started, I did not say out loud, I want to quit my job, because that was really scary to say. But I want you don't have to tell us, but I want you to think deep down, what was that reason, the thing that you can't even get out of your mouth? And it's okay if it's massive. That is great. I love that, because truly the dreams that you have and the goals that you set need to be centered not on what your past circumstances have been, but on where you can go. There is nothing about your past that is shaping your future, okay? And so as you're sending these inbounds and as you're having these objections and conversations, if your mindset is rooted in the future as opposed to like, well, so-and-so told me I never amount to anything, and then here I am again, and it's just like this self-perpetuating cycle, we get stuck and we get held back so intensely. And so I really want you to think about that tonight. And then oftentimes, the things that are going to be holding you back from taking action in these ways, and a lot of them apply, I think, to circumstances right now, even specifically, are fear, right? Overwhelm, and lack of consistency, maybe lack of a system. I think there's a lot of fear going on in the world right now. I mean, we see it by people buying absurd numbers of toilet paper. Like, who needs 17 barrels of toilet paper in their house right now? Like, we're seeing that. We're seeing overwhelm where, you know, I have friends even who are like, I can't even get on social media because I just want to bury my head in the hand, like stand like an ostrich. Like, those things are happening right now. And then a lack of consistency in showing up during times like this because we don't know how to handle it. And it's easier to not take action and to just be paralyzed. But I will tell you, the best thing that you can do is start taking action. So we're just going to talk about these things really briefly before we go into invite. I love this quote. Rachel and I both, we do get mentored by Bob Heilig, and I have, I don't know, I'm printing the screen apparently right now. I have nothing but great things to say about him. He's doing free training on Facebook. I know my team's getting shared, and I think Rachel is sharing with you guys too. But I love this quote where fear is imagining a negative outcome for an action you have not even taken yet. And I have been there, guys. I don't know if you have people on that list that you know you should invite, but you're really scared to invite because fill in the blank. You're just assuming you know what they're going to say. You're just assuming. You are putting assumptions on the outcome. You are putting assumptions on being afraid to put out that post tonight because of how it's going to be perceived. But if your heart and your mindset and your faith are in the right place, guys, it doesn't matter what Susie from high school thinks about you, okay? I have had girls in my wedding unfriended me on Facebook, like my bridesmaids, and we've like worked it out behind the scenes. But if I let that stop me from this business, because I know what God is doing in my life, and quite honestly, where they are at in their lives right now is not where I want to be. Like, you can't just let that paralyze you. So don't even go there yet. Fear has no place. We are more than conquerors, and you guys are here for a reason. So how do you grow in confidence? You have to start learning how to manage your thoughts. You have to start growing in your faith. It's a personal development business with a compensation plan attached, okay? And the more that you guys can start expecting the positive outcomes, the more that you can get excited to connect with these women. When you think about the fact that your invite could literally save a mom from postpartum depression, or it could give a wife her marriage back, or it could open the door to help someone put food on their table. Like, how could we not share this opportunity? And yeah, there's going to be people who say no. And I know I'm getting preachy at you guys, but I just get fired up about this because it really, really matters. And when you can start expecting those types of outcomes, because they are going to happen, not every invite you send, but they are going to be there, you can work through the no's and the ghostings. The next thing, and we will help you with this, but is don't word vomit on people. Just keep it super simple. Stop just telling people all the things and just start showing people. So in your stories, like, I like to think about my social media as being a constant invite and objections platform. Meaning, if I'm getting a lot of objections about cost, guess what? I will talk to those people behind the scenes. But in my stories, I'm going to talk about how my meal plan saves us money and I'm not buying Oreos every week anymore. And how I actually use my home gym instead of letting something sit on the counter or whatever, you know, you get what I'm saying there. I talk about, if I'm getting objections on time, I talk about having a 20-minute workout or what I'm doing strategically. I got a bunch of feedback. I shared this little snack tray idea that I use to keep my kids occupied when I work out with them around. And all these moms were like messaging me about it. Just super simple. So keep it simple in your conversations. Just ask people for that, you know, like, what are your goals? Cool, I'd love to share more, like those basic steps, but then also show them how you're doing that in your stories, and start viewing this business as a platform for something bigger. I can tell you guys after 4 years, and I know Rachel will be right with me, at 5 years in this business, the coaches who succeed are not the ones who are sharing their Shakeology every day on their Instagram feeds. They're the ones who are talking about the bigger reason that this business and this workout and this nutrition is changing their lives. They're making this platform not about them, but about serving others. And yeah, your life gets changed as a part of it, but when you can start viewing it as something beyond just showing up and doing your boxing workout for the day, but what are you fighting for? Are you fighting for your marriage? Are you fighting for your family? Are you fighting for your sanity in this crazy world right now? And you start taking it beyond just you, that's where impact starts to happen. And that is what starts to set you apart from all the other coaches out there. So you have to start to grow in your confidence. Overwhelm, and some of you might be feeling this as new coaches, guys. I hate this word so much. If you come to me and tell me you're overwhelmed, I will be nice to you, but I'm going to give you this quote right here. It's not having too much to do. You're not overwhelmed by you're probably sitting on your couch right now, scrolling Instagram feeling overwhelmed, or Pinterest because you're frozen. It's that you don't know what the next step is. We watched Frozen 2 last night. We previewed it. It's probably too scary for my kids, but Ben and I liked it. And if you guys have seen it, there's this great song that Anna does called The Next Right Step. And have you guys seen Frozen 2? Some of you? No? Yeah. Okay, Evelyn, you have. So go look it up on YouTube. It's a great song, great message. And it just talks about she's just kind of lost everything around her and doesn't know how she's going to get up. But then she's like, I can do the next right thing. And that is taking a breath. And then it's taking a step. And for you in this business, that is what this is going to be. You don't have to understand the compensation plan. You don't have to understand new coach training to recruit. All you have to do is show up and send that invite. And then you can reach out to Rachel and I for help, or you can use the tools that we've given you. But it's just the next step. And I think sometimes we get so caught up and so afraid to invite or handle the objections because we're not the experts on all of the things. We don't know all the herbs that are in Shakeology or how Shanti's mind works with his training plan, or we don't understand even how we get paid yet. So how could we teach someone else? You don't need to worry about that. You just take the next step. So for a lot of you, it's going to be sending an invite. It's going to be doing a post. It's going to be showing up for yourself. The income that we earn is the byproduct of the impact that we're making, and we can stop making this business fear-based about ourselves, what people are going to think about our invite, what people are going to think about our post. And we can start thinking, how can I serve? How can I bless? How can I use this for good? This is what is needed right now. And so when you are asking, well, what do I share about? And how do I send my invite? I want you to run everything through this funnel of how can I serve? Is this serving someone now? What does my audience need to hear from me? I can tell you that my audience right now, just from general scrolling on Facebook, they're sick of hearing about coronavirus. They want tips for keeping their kids occupied. They want funny memes. They want some, maybe some healthy recipes that they could make ahead or things like that. That's what my people want. So guess what? My last 3 posts, 2 of them were live Instagram videos talking about 1 tips for homeschooling and 2 tips for how I work from home. And I did them sitting in my bathroom, acknowledging that I'm a total hot mess. And I think sometimes that's just what people need to hear too, that you don't have it all together. But think about right now, the next 3 weeks, keep sharing your journey, keep doing your workouts, talk about 10 rounds in your stories, share an invite. But now's not the time for just spammy, not that any of you would be, but those kinds of cold actions. It's the time to think about how can I give? And the more that you give, guys, the more you are going to be given back. You're not going to run out. So just think about service. If you can shift your focus to give, I love this quote, it will have a huge impact on your success, because when you show up to genuinely help people and have a meaningful impact in the world, all those fears melt away. Instead of being knotted up with play it small paranoia, like what will people think of me and who am I to do this, you're thinking, who am I not to do this? How dare I stop myself from bringing this awesomeness to people whose lives I can help transform? When you are driven by purpose and look at what you do as a calling for your life, what you do in your business every day goes from things you have to do to things you get to do. The truth is, success is not a matter of doing, it's a matter of being. It's the identity you take on, the thoughts and beliefs you have that drive your actions. So stop focusing on small scale tactics and step back and see the bigger picture and the impact you can have and be the one to make it happen. When you go back to that dream that I had you guys think about, don't think about all the things in your past that make you unable to attain it. I want you to reverse engineer that. And I want you to think about, okay, this is my goal. So how would Abby 3 years down the road show up today? Would she be sitting on the couch paralyzed by fear, or would she go send out 5 invites? Would she be sitting on the couch worrying what people's going to think, or is she just going to go do that live video anyway, even though she has a giant zit on her face? Because I do, guys, and I really have thought about going live today because my makeup makes it look worse. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go live. Real is better. Like, it is not just about us. So think about who you want to be and what the world reads right now, and be that girl today for those people. There's Bob. There's my other PowerPoint. Consistency means that you are so paralyzed by fear that you're not taking action enough. And here is the key. If you are sitting here being overwhelmed tonight, is first of all, get clear, like I just talked about, and think about it. It doesn't matter if your action isn't perfect. It's why we ask you guys to share your trackers sometimes, even if they're not all filled in. And I was talking to a couple girls in my challenge group, and they're just really struggling with the motivation to show up. I'm like, guys, it's the same with my business. If you wait until you feel like it, you're going to do this once a month, okay? And if you're like me and you're on your period, you're going to just want to quit every day for that entire week and think you're the worst coach on the planet, but you still show up, because every single day of action builds the muscle of consistency, and it will start to get easier. So if social media posting is overwhelming for you right now, guess what? You do it. It's just like running a race. It's just like showing up for practice. You will get better. You will get faster. You will get stronger. And if you just actually treat this like a business, like it's a 6-figure opportunity, because it is, guys, and Rachel and I are proof that this is possible. If it's a side hustle to you, you're going to show up when it's convenient. And guess what? When life gets crazy, when the world gets scary, when things happen, when shit hits the fan in our lives, the first things that go are hobbies. The first things that go are those side hustles that don't matter. But if this matters to you, if the income and the opportunity and the impact and the platform that you have matters, when life gets crazy, you are going to lean into this, because it matters even more. It's not going to be that hobby that throws out the window, and maybe it requires you to get up a little earlier, or stay up a little later, or be willing to have some posts that totally bomb, or go live with a zit on your face, but you're going to do it, because that is what the world needs, okay? So your current circumstances have nothing to do with your future. Your negative thoughts and your past limiting beliefs and the circumstances that happened to you in the past, they created your results today. So it's what you're doing today. It's what you're telling yourself today. It's the invites that you're sending today, the conversations that you're having today that are going to shape where you are in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years. So if you're telling yourself right now, well, that's great, Abby, but I'm not worthy of success, or I could never be where you or Rachel are at, or whatever, you have to start changing that mindset right now. And I can't do that for you, and Rachel can't do that for you. And that's why, honestly, guys, it doesn't matter what scripts we give you if you are not there. And how you do that, I believe, is talking to Jesus and getting real and knowing that you were created for a purpose. And every time that you self-doubt your capabilities, you're slapping God in the face, not to be harsh, but he equipped you for this, and he called you to this day for a purpose. And so you can change those beliefs. And so I want you to really think about that and say, I will never be more worthy or deserving of what I want in my life than I am at this very moment, because you know that you are created for that. So that was a lot of preaching at you, but I felt like I needed it, and I felt like you guys needed it, because that mindset is what you have to have. And so with that little fiery sermon from my bathroom floor, we are going to talk about inviting and posting and sharing right now. And I don't have a PowerPoint for that, because I'm just going to share with you guys. And we have scripts I'm going to share in our team coach, our little new coach thing, a Google Doc with all the things that I'm referencing. But I know Rachel has shared these with you guys too. But what I want to hear first of all, if you type them in the chat bar, is what are some objections that you're getting right now? And what are your invites look like? So start typing those in, because that will help me be able to talk those through with you. And how many invites are you sending? So just kind of share those things. And while you're typing those, we are going to talk a little bit about your posts this week. So Rachel, if you didn't watch the new coach training from last week, go watch that, because she walked over Social Media 101 for you guys. But really this week, I think a lot of us are just focusing on sharing. So I want you to kind of think through, okay, what can I share that people need? So maybe you do a little at-home workout circuit, like your favorite ab moves that didn't require any equipment. Or maybe you just have your bands and it's like a little shoulder circuit. Maybe you're sharing activities that you're doing with your kids and you go live about that. Like, just think about how can you tie it in. It doesn't necessarily need to tie specifically into a challenge group invite, because when you can get more eyes on your page because they know, oh, Suzanne shared an awesome recipe and I'm going to come back to her for that, or Megan shared that super funny mom quote or whatever, that really is there. And then in your stories, that's where the magic happens. And that's where you're going to be sharing your workout clips every day. That's where you're going to be talking about your challenge group. You are going to be screenshotting the heck out of your free group and the results people are getting in there and how fun it is. You are going to be sharing. And maybe you don't have anyone in there, but you are in Rachel's challenge group or you're in my challenge group and you can talk about those things. You are going to showcase the results that you're having. What are the keys to your sanity right now? Like, what are you reading in your personal development that's impacting you? And you're just going to share all the love with people. And as they watch your stuff and as they like your stuff, you're going to invite them, and we're going to talk about that. But the key to all of this, and my team, I think there's a few of you on here, you're not sick of me yet because you're new, but they get sick of me saying this, but it all ties together. So if you're struggling sending invites, usually it means you don't have any content. But if you can consistently be in your stories, that's why this whole thing all ties together. The consistency matters. So when you show up in your stories every day and you're talking about your workouts and you're talking about your nutrition and you're sprinkling in other things that will benefit, maybe crazy things your kids are doing or your weird dog, or doing one of those funny like head tilting games with your husband on Instagram. If you there, it's in stories if you don't know what I mean. It's like a funny question thing. Or a recipe, creating content that will keep people coming back, then it's really easy to send invites, because I can say like, hey Megan, I saw you watching my stories. Thank you so much. It's a total hot mess here all the time. Are you following me for faith or fitness, the business, my little fam? And it just opens up that door of conversation. So you have to be consistent on your social media platforms right now. What I would be sending right now is, and I'm going to tonight, is following up with everybody who's watching my stories or liking my posts. And I am going to do a casual invite. I'm just going to say something to the effect of like, hey, Jenny, how are you doing with all of this craziness right now? Like, honestly, how are you feeling? Is there anything I can be sharing this week that would help you? Like, are your kids home too? Are you having to work out from home? And just, people are loving to talk about all the craziness right now. So ask them how they're doing, but give them specific things to respond to. Like, how is, are you able to get in workouts, or what can I share? Like those types of things. So kind of forming the conversation, but tailoring it to not just like, want to join my boot camp, but like, how are you feeling? How can I help you? How can I serve you? And they're going to tell you. So that's a really, really good one. The other thing that you can do that really is helpful, and I think I can pull up my Instagram feed here really quick. I think I have some saved so I can show you. But once a week at least, I try to do these little polls in my stories, and I ask people, Rachel, did you cover these already? I don't need to go over them if you did. The like polls for content. No,
not in depth. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I do these polls once a week, and I ask them to choose which thing they want to see during the week. And I always give a few options. So sharing my meal plan, late night snacking, getting over the fear of social media, my favorite apps and tools, tips on fighting overwhelm, tips on finding motivation. Those are some examples. Mom life, what do you want to see posts on mom life, or marriage, or faith, or business? So those would be just some examples. And what I do with those is, and every week I change it up, but I always make them things that I can talk about. And some of them are related specifically to my challenge group. Some of them are mindset. Some of them are just general. So think about things that you can share about really confidently, or things that you might be getting a lot of objections over. So things that I've talked about would be like postpartum workouts, getting kids to eat healthy. Like, I always give people options. Then what I do is I do not invite from those polls. I don't say like, oh, cool, Beth clicked that she wants me to talk more about like healthy meal plans. And yes, join my group. Oh, hold on. My Instagram is talking to me. Okay, there we go. I don't invite. I would say, hey, Beth, I saw, and I message you from that poll. I'd say, hey, Beth, I saw that you clicked on the poll that you are really struggling finding motivation too. What's your biggest pain point right now? I don't say like, I'm going to help you find motivation, and you tell me. And then it's great, because I know that that's something I've been getting a lot of objections over, and I can craft my posts and my stories, and I can serve. And you're going to be like, dang, how is Abby in my head? Like, she's talking right to me today. And I'm like, well, because I'm using the words that you told me. So I ask you, and then I serve behind the scenes. So if you tell me you're struggling with motivation and you share like, here's what I was struggling with, I'm not inviting, I'm just saying, cool, here's some really practical tips that I read, or here's a podcast that really spoke to me on this, or hey, you said you wanted me to share more on healthy desserts. I'm totally going to do that in my stories this week, but here's like my favorite clean eating chocolate chip cookie recipe. Like, let me know how you like it. Guess what? That builds so much trust, guys, that you can confidently go and send them an invite a week later because you have served them. They don't feel like you're using them. They don't feel like it's a spammy thing. And so I'd recommend doing these at least once a week, especially if you're having trouble figuring out what your audience wants to see from you, because they will tell you. But I just message those people who vote on those polls every single week. And you kind of sometimes have to train them to do it. So if you do this next week and like only your mom votes on your polls, don't get discouraged, because people get scared because they think that you're going to invite off of them oftentimes. And so it sometimes takes them a little while to realize like, oh, okay, she does this every week. And I do want to like, and I saw the poll results because when you click on them, you can see, and look at, she did share recipes later that week. So utilize that as a way to get in conversations with someone, because then again, I've served them, I've given them their healthy cookery recipe or whatever, and I've talked about it in my stories that week, like I said I would. But then the next week I can come along and just say like, hey, did you try that recipe? Like, how are you doing? I'm so sorry I haven't invited you to my boot camp yet, but like I'm kicking it off and it's going to be awesome. So it really makes it not a cold thing. They've already trusted you with that. So does that make sense? Do you guys have questions on that? Okay. So that's a really good one. I would start there. Like I would do some polls if you haven't done this before, like tonight or tomorrow, and just say like, guys, what do you want to see from me? Like, how can I serve you in this crazy season? Do you want like equipment-free home workout videos? Like I can share like some moves, or like how to keep your kids out of your space when you're working out. Do you want my favorite freezer meal recipes, or, you know, like things that will truly serve people right now? Go find some polls, come up with 2 or 3 things that you feel like you can confidently talk about. And then every day, guess what? You're going to talk about it. And then what you're going to do is you are going to save them on your Instagram as a highlight called something like, I'll show you what mine is. Mine is called mini trainings. And so they're back here. But so whenever I add new things to this, guess what? People are going to go here, and I'm positioned now as an expert where I've like done a on postpartum fitness right here. So I did like this whole little mini training on postpartum fitness. I did one, and they're kind of long because I talk a lot. I like to talk. It's loading slowly, but you can go look at my Instagram feed if you want to. But I did one on late night snacking and sugar cravings. So I saved those things on my highlights, and that way I'm positioned as an authority and people can come back to that. So really be confident when you're doing those. Like, okay, you guys all voted that you struggle with X, Y, or Z, or you want tips on this. So here you go, serving you in this way. So you're doing it publicly and you're doing it behind the scenes, and then you're opening the door for future conversations. So as a new coach, we don't want you being cold and spammy with your invites. I want you starting to build those connections, but you can be direct in your invites with people who already know, like, and trust you. People who know you're not insane, right? People who love you, your best friend from college, or your mom, or your sister, or your, you know, whatever. Those are people that you can absolutely just be like, oh my gosh, I'm about to start this boxing program, and I don't know about you, but I like need the stress release so bad right now. Would this be helpful? Like, do you want to try the sample workout? I would love to have you do this with me. So be bold with the people who are already in your circle, in your warm market. These like feeler conversations and like these kind of like warming up strategy, that's for people who maybe you haven't talked to in a few years, or are new to following you on Instagram or something like that. But I want you guys to be bold and direct with the people who are in your life right now, and just be like, girlfriend, I would love the extra accountability. Like, I'm about to start 10 rounds. Do you want to do this with me? Like, let's get shredded abs together and punch out. We can do some virtual workouts since we're all quarantined, or, you know, you can say whatever you want to say. But be bold with your immediate audience. And then with the people who are connecting on your stories and your posts, you can invite from them. But if you have not had a connection with them before and you feel icky sending one, you need to do just like a warm-up conversation. Does that make sense for you guys? Yeah. Is this making it less scary? Maybe. It still is scary. Drink some Energize. Go put on, like, my pump up song is Bon Jovi's It's My Life. That like always gets me. So I will sometimes put that on before I go send invites and just be like, yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Rachel, do you have anything to add on that while I look at their questions?
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
I love Bon Jovi. That's so funny. I do. I love Bon Jovi. That cracks me up. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. I think that honestly, if we can teach you now, like, yes, I know Abby and I have both talked to you guys about, your first challengers should probably be your warm market, like people that know you best, like those people who would buy dirt from you. And I know a lot of you guys are giving us these responses that people are giving you the cost objection. Totally normal, like totally normal. So don't think I'm inviting and I'm getting these objections and it's just not going to work for me, because honestly, Ivy and I ran into the same exact things. But the thing is that it's this whole compound effect. It's that slight edge that we teach you guys. Like, you're inviting, you're posting on social media, you're talking to people about it while you're talking to people that you know and love. Even though they're giving you objections, you're learning how to talk about it. So, like, long term, you're building these tiny little building blocks that are going to pay off. And now you see us and we're like hitting Success Club and we're like confident in our posts and things like that. But we started right where you are. So, the thing is that people just don't understand it yet. And that's where their objections are coming from. And like, if you're getting a ton of cost objections, then like once a week, you should be doing that comparison of like what you get with a challenge pack compared to what you get with a gym membership and personal training and nutrition advice and all that stuff. We can share that with you guys. I don't share that a lot. Honestly, don't share it very much now, because I find that people do what you get excited about. And so like, if I talk to people about my groups and things like that, now people catch my excitement and my confidence and they just, like, they just join. But also, I've gotten really good at practicing how to explain that you're getting a whole year membership. Like, I mean, I can't pay for like 2 or 3 months at a gym, just a gym membership, for what I get for the cost of signing up for a boot camp for a whole year, right? And, like, I personally, if somebody buys a challenge pack, I don't care if they never buy Shakeology again for the next 11 months, they still get, they are a part of my challenge group. Now, after a year, if they're not buying anything, then they have to recommit with something, a purchase. But what you'll find is that once people get into your groups, they're going to be pretty much sold out, and they'll be convinced of how awesome it is. I'm kind of rambling. What was my point? You guys have cost objections, so like, don't think that that's like just like the deal breaker. Like, we can work through those. Your goal is 3 people every month to buy a challenge pack. Sign up as a challenger or coach with a challenge pack, and they're out there. There are people out there. You just have to stay consistent. And like, honestly, the things that we are asking you to do, the things that are on that business activity tracker, it's simple. It's very simple. Don't worry about the perfect filters. Don't worry about the perfect stories. Don't even, honestly, Janice, you asked about the timing of your posts. That's simple. Just download the When to Post app. But, really and truly, like right now, just get in the habit of doing the posting, the inviting, the connecting, and sharing your story. And that's like all you need.
Yeah. And here's the other thing with the price objections, and you guys can like drop them in the chat if you're struggling. But one thing that I noticed is the very first time that someone first of all, it blows my mind that people think I'm just offering everything for free. Like, I laugh every time I get like, wait, it costs something? I'm like, duh. I just laugh. But here's the thing. Oftentimes it's like an immediate like, oh, I can't afford it. And they're telling you this before you've even told them what it is. And I don't know if you guys are running into that at all. But what I do is I push back a little on them, like with grace. But I tell them, I'm like, hey, I totally get it when and like do the whole feel felt found thing. Because like you guys probably all have stories. Like for me, it's like, gosh, I totally get it. When I started, I had just finished grad school. My husband was in paramedic school. We had just bought our house, and I had a baby that we weren't planning on. So we were like totally stressed. So I feel yeah, but it ended up saving us so much money. I haven't actually even told you the whole breakdown, and there's several different package options. Do you want me just to send you over the info so you can kind of look it over? And that kind of response will oftentimes catch people, and they're like, oh, okay. And I've had people end up purchasing challenge packs because for some reason in their mind, they thought it was $500. Or they get this weird thing in their head where they think it's $160 a month. And so I always make sure like they know it's a one-time cost. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Like if you don't love it, you can drink all your Shakeology and Beachbody will pay you back. Like it's amazing. So really, if you haven't broken it down for them yet, don't be afraid when they say they can't afford it. Just kindly ask them like, hey, can I actually show you? Because there is a whole breakdown. And guys, like, there are also so many products. I always, always, always lead with the challenge pack, always, because it is the best deal. Everyone does better. I give them, and I know Rachel has the same, like, here's your 3 options, you know, for the like regular, deluxe, and mega. And I would say, guys, about 60% of the time, people buy the deluxe package from me because they see me using Energize. I'm on the ultimate reset right now and I miss it so much, but they see me using Energize every day in my stories. I make recovery pudding almost every night after my workout, and I talk about how my sweet tooth and how it's helping me. I get messages about what's that. I share my shake regularly. So they see me using this stuff and they want it. And once you see it in a breakdown, people oftentimes statistically will pick the middle option. And what that does is they think, oh my gosh, it's really not that much more to add on all of this. Or if they go with the basic challenge pack, they think they're getting a crazy deal because they are, because they have picked the cheapest option. It's totally a psychology thing. So I do not lead with Beachbody On Demand. I always lead with the challenge pack because I believe in it and I stand behind it and I use it and I talk about it. And then if someone comes to me and they genuinely, truly, because I've had people in my groups and I know people who don't have 2 pennies to their name, or maybe it's right now and their husband just lost his job, or, you know, something like that. We have so many other options that we can serve them with, but lead with the best value and the best results for them, which is the challenge pack. And then you can save the 3-month membership or the year, you know, you can save those things in your back pocket for them because we have a lot of other things we can offer. So just because they say no doesn't mean you can't help them still, but confidently lead with that. And if they're getting, no worries, Janice, you have to go. That's totally fine. Let's see here. What other questions? So does that help you guys on the price stuff? And make sure, and I know my team has this, I know Rachel's, but make sure you're breaking it down. Just don't say it's 160 bucks. Tell them all of the things they're gonna get, right? List it all out for them. If they're saying they don't have time, quite honestly, that's just BS. Guys, we have a 20-minute workout, like 20 minutes. And Transform 20, if you've not tried it yet, will leave you sweating like no one's business. It works. So that one, I just have to say, I'm just like, girlfriends, you have 20 minutes because I can get you worked out and showered in 30. Like, you can do this. So that one is just, quite honestly, them putting up barriers. And I truly believe a lot of the time with the objections that we get, it comes back to, as we're all women on this call, it's so much of a personal thing. Someone can spend $100, $200 at Target like this, right? And they don't even think anything of it because you can't fail Target. And Target can't fail you. But for how many of these women, we don't maybe know their backstories. Has there been DVDs collecting dust on the shelf, or that Weight Watchers membership that didn't work, or the husband who made fun of them while they worked out that one time? I've had girls in my challenge groups who were like that. We don't know all of the baggage behind the scenes. And so oftentimes it's really easy to put up the quick objections of time or money or whatever, when the truth is, when they're consistently watching your stories every day, and they keep coming back to you, looking at your stuff, you know they want what you have. You know they're missing something in their life. So you can gently just say like, hey, what's, like, I know we talked about time. I know it's a great deal. So what's really going on? Like, I really want to serve you. Is there something that's, you know, like, if they're worried that they're not going to show up, they're not going to be motivated, they're not going to be consistent, that's where we get the opportunity to come and serve them and be like, that's what you're going to get in our groups. Like, that's exactly what I'm here for. And so show them that. And there absolutely are very valid objections for sure, but just know you can push back nicely, but you can give some pushback if you're confident. And here's the other thing, it's like some people, they're not going to be ready. I have girls in my challenge group right now who I invited 2 years ago, and they were finally ready. And I don't want someone to join my group before they're ready, because if I push them into this and they don't want to show up and they get crappy results because they had a bad attitude and didn't do a workout, well, that's going to leave a really bad taste in their mouth about what I do and the groups that we run. So you don't have to drag everybody in, but don't be afraid to give some pushback on some of the objections that there are out there. And I'll share some documents in our new coach training after this for you guys that kind of are just some resources on that. So I think time is, that's a silly one. Other things, if I missed anything, I'm trying to think here. Invite Kimberly. They struggle with sticking with things. They tried a lot of programs. So yeah, again, You're going to help them find that motivation. What would it look like to have an app that they can log in every day, have a whole giant Netflix, and maybe they just start out with 3 weeks with 21-day fix and ask them, can you stick with something for 30 minutes a day for 3 weeks? Like, we're going to get you results there. So those kinds of ones are definitely, yeah.
I think too, like there's so much power, you guys, like where you're at in your coaching business, like starting your coaching business, you have even more than Abby and I had when we started. So like, don't copy us, like don't copy me and Abby, but like emulate what we do. Because our story is going to be different than yours. I never encourage you to copy our posts, but like copy some of the things that we do. Like tonight, like just now, I actually went on Instagram and I went to my challenge group and I screenshotted our challenge group, like the page, and I highlighted the fact in my stories that like 22, almost 30 women in our challenge group today logged to work out in a shake, right? Like on a day that it would have been so easy not to show up, these women showed up, right? And so like, like when you go to log your shake or your workout, who in here has an iPhone? Does everybody have an iPhone for the most part? No, Jenny says no. Suzanne says no, I think. But like on an iPhone, like you can actually record your screen. Like you can record what you're doing on your iPhone. And I have no doubt you can do it on Android, honestly. But like when I go to log my workout or my shake, like I can actually record, like I can have my screen record and it will record me like logging my workout or my shake. And so like you can put that in your stories, and that's showing people who are thinking about joining you, like, what am I getting when I join Rachel's challenge group? What am I getting when I join Abby's challenge group? When you get a community where you actually are held accountable, like, through an app to your workout and your nutrition and things like that. So like, like if people are giving you objections, one, it's because they don't understand, quite honestly, and you have such a valuable opportunity to show them what you are getting. Let me see if I can record or share my screen here. Hold on a second. I can. Just a minute, Evelyn. I will answer that for you. But yeah, so that is really important that you guys understand that you really and truly have so much technology that can educate people even before they join a challenge group. So use that to your advantage. And again, like you aren't going to know all these things right away. Like honestly, we had to learn these things as we went, but like I will show you how to do that right now. Okay. Can you guys see my phone? Like my phone? If I go, okay, so if I just swipe down, I have an iPhone, this is like a 10 plus, like I think it's an 11, I can't remember. But if you swipe down up there on the top right hand corner, if I swipe down, I have that you see that little circle down at the bottom. If I hit that, it will, it won't do it now because I'm doing this. But if I hit that little record button right there, it will count down 3 seconds. And then anything that I do on my phone, it's going to record it so long as I have that going. Okay. And so like if I want to, add my weight or whatever, it's going to record what I do on my phone. And then I'll stop the recording. There's usually a little red button up in the top left corner, and it will stop the recording and it will save it as a video on my phone. So all I have to do is upload that video to my stories, and I can write words over it. I can write whatever over it. I actually did it with, hold on, let me show you. I did it with a story today. If I go to
all the time, it's awesome.
I
use it all the time, and I just make sure, like, if you guys are screenshotting stuff from your groups, just like cross off people's names, or like if it's privacy stuff. But it's awesome to be able to show behind the scenes what's going on.
Yeah, so this is like a recording. I just recorded me scrolling through that Sweat for Sanity group today. And I just uploaded it to my stories. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, just educate constantly of what you do, because it's going to take people a long time. Sometimes I've noticed from a new follower starting to follow me, it usually takes somewhere between 3 to 6 months before they join my group. So and I show up very consistently, right? So give it grace. So it's really important right now as we're talking about invites and stuff that you are consistent, that you are sharing content, and especially the next 2 weeks that is serving people while still showcasing what we have. Like serve first, but then invite the people who you do know. maybe the moms group at church, or like people that could use an at-home workout. Like, don't be afraid, guys, to go and invite right now and just say like, hey, this might not be up your alley, but I just tried this 10 rounds workout, and I know you know what I do as a coach. And right now I'm super stressed. I'm sure you are too. And this has been like, just that workout was amazing for, I mean, maybe this isn't what you would say, but what I would say, like, it felt so good to punch out some of the stress of the last few days. I'm putting together a group of gals to do this with me. We're going to be focusing on, in my group, She is Fearless, of like fighting for different aspects in our lives in this crazy season. Would you like more info on it? Would you like to try out the sample workout? Like, go send that to people that you know personally. That is not a spammy invite. That is acknowledging the season. That's offering something free. That's letting them know that you have something that's special. When I was a brand new coach, I was working full time. My husband was gone. I had a 1-year-old son at home. I was busy, and I would not go to sleep at night until I had done, and back in the day, we didn't have Instagram stories. So it was like 3 Facebook posts. You don't have to do that now. You do your 1 post and your stories. But I'd added 3 friends, done 3 posts, and sent 3 invites. That was my bare minimum that I could, if I could do nothing else that day, because life was crazy, I would not go to sleep. And sometimes I was literally heading to bed and being like, oh, dang, I didn't do my invites. So I go to my post and be like, okay, who are the 3 people who are going to get an invite from me tonight? And that kind of just like little mini checklist in my head made it not scary. But when you multiply that, if all I did was show up 3 people every day, you multiply that by a month and I'd have connected with almost 100 people, right? It's those little, that compound effect that matters. So if you're sitting here and saying, I haven't invited anybody yet, or I get overwhelmed, like, just start with 3. There's power in that, just 3 people. Go find 3 friends, go invite 3 people. And again, don't make them cold and spammy. If you're sitting here also being like, well, I haven't been consistent with my content yet, or I don't know who to invite. One thing that I did that was really helpful is I kind of was like, okay, how can I tweak this to something that will really like be specific and benefit? So I'll give you guys an example. I did a group, and it was quite honestly the same challenge group I always run, nothing different, but I was trying to hit some goals, and I was like 3 months into coaching at this point, and I was like, okay, I'm going to invite all the moms, because this was my season of life with kids 5 and under. And so I did, and I sent an invite to all my friends, like real life friends. And I just said, hey, hey, Jen, how's your summer going? Your kids are so cute. I don't know if you've seen what I'm doing, but I am putting together a group just for moms of really young kids, because I know it's just crazy town right now with sleep schedules and picky eaters. And I'm going to be sharing in their workouts you can get in under 30 minutes. I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite, like, healthy, kids-friendly recipes and ways that I'm getting my son to eat his veggies. And there's going to be a lot of other moms in there. We're just going to, like, have some camaraderie and some fun. Does that sound like something that would help you right now? That was a cold invite, because these were to friends who hadn't been liking my posts, right? Or if stories were a thing, maybe not watching my stories, but it was tailored to them. It just wasn't like something spammy. So if you guys are kind of trying to rack your brain, maybe think about, are you doing 10 rounds right now, or bar, or like whatever program you're doing right now, think of like, okay, how can I specifically invite to somebody? Yeah, like your niche. So what is it that you're passionate about right now that could really help someone, like people, grad students, gals that work full time? Like, you can make it fun. Maybe people who love The Office, and there's like whole challenge group guides I've seen out there, like The Office or Friends or trivia. Like, it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to always be like Bible studies. Like, you can make it goofy and fun, but just think of like, how could you tailor an invite and just reach out to someone? Be like, hey, I know you love this too. Like, would this be helpful? This is what we're focusing on. Would you like more info? All you have to say. And then they say yes. And you're like, perfect. What goals are you trying to reach? And then they're like, well, I've been trying to, lose the last 10 pounds, or we're going, well, maybe they're not going on vacation now. We were going to go on vacation, or whatever it is. Like, perfect. Okay. What types of workouts do you like? Like, what things do you enjoy doing? Do you have anything you have to be careful of? Do you see how this is a conversation? I'm not word vomiting challenge packs on them. I'm asking them, what are their goals? What do they like? What do they have to be careful of or avoid? Maybe they have a bad knee, or they hate cardio. So I'm going to be like, okay, noted. I'm not going to recommend Transform 20 to her. Then you're like, okay, perfect. So here's a little bit about what our group is about. And I give them a little blurb about our challenge group. Does this sound like something that would be helpful for you? I'm like, yeah, perfect. So let's talk options. I'm so excited. And it's just that conversation back and forth. By the time I get to the point where I've actually sent out a share cart, because guys, you do not send out share cards until they have the yes. Like, I hate when my coaches do that. I don't send anything out to them with like, here's your link to order, until I know that they're all in. But by the time they get to that point, I never have anybody not purchase, because we've talked about our goals. They've filled out my little info form. I've heard what they want to do, and they know what I have to offer them. So it's just kind of a step-by-step little breakdown conversation with them. So go tonight. I want you to invite 3 people, and I want you to share it in our new coach group. Seriously, I'm going to call you out on it if you don't. I will tag you. I'm going to ask you your 3 people that you invited, and I want you to think all this week, how can I serve? How can I serve my audience, and how can I show up for me and share that with them? Because when you're showing up for you, what is that? That's your workouts. That's your nutrition. That's your personal development and your mindset. And everybody right now needs all of those things. So if you're showcasing that consistently in your stories and you're serving others, you're going to have plenty of people to connect with and invite. Okay? Any questions that we haven't covered yet before I let you guys go at all? This is helpful? Are you still feeling scared? Like, chat it out for a second if you need to. You all good? Okay. And don't let objections scare you. Like I said, I'll drop tonight as soon as we get off this call, just a couple documents for like follow-ups and invites and objections. I would encourage you to use them, but make them your own. So use your own words, just don't copy and paste. Talk how you would talk. Voice messages, guys, are awesome. I love sending those because they can hear your excitement. So if someone, like maybe you send the invite and you're like, hey, do you want more info? And Suzanne messages me back, yes. If I can't always do this depending on the time of day, but if I can, I'll get on and just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to talk to you. Like, what are your goals? They can hear in my voice that I am pumped. And so don't be afraid to actually like get on video or use your voice. And then as soon as someone is like, sign up for your boot camp, go shout them out in your stories, create some FOMO, like make some fun happen and get excited about the opportunity that you guys have to change some lives. So with that, is there anything else that you guys are feeling unclear of for this week? Was that helpful, kind of thinking through posts and stuff and like selling in the next couple of days? You guys are good? Okay. Well, thank you for taking time tonight. I know it's crazy busy. If you guys need us, you know how to reach us. I'll share those things, and then I'm going to call you out to go post your 3 people, okay? All right. Bye, guys.